Wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us to be able to share our thinking, and also we'd like to say thank you also to the representatives, in this case the political counselor of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, as well as the executive director and other representatives from Shanghai Advanced Institute of Finance, from Shanghai Jiangtao University, and of course our very good friend, the Dean of the Faculty of the University of Indonesia, uh, and all of the participants in today's events. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. For all of you who doesn't know, I'm also one of the alumni of the University of Indonesia.
Here, here.
So it is
Amazing.
a pleasure for me to be able to present in this room, although I never actually had a lecture here in this room. It gives me a great pleasure to be here with all of you today to discuss about the China and Indonesia business education cooperation, and so in facilitating the bilateral economic cooperation as well as the people-to-people diplomacy. The theme of the general lecture is very relevant, as education, of course, is playing a very important role in strengthening the bilateral cooperation as well as people-to-people relations. I hope that through this event, we can evaluate the state of Indonesia and China education cooperation and further explore how we can further expand and enhance this going forward. This is very crucial because I believe that one way a person can understand another country, of course, is through the educational exchanges, immersing the students in another country with its culture, the people, customs, and the tradition is, of course, very important to be able to also understand about how are we going to be able to develop relationships. Yeah, last week I was actually in the non-aligned movement summit, and one of the one of the issues that I actually mentioned is that in the Bandung conference in 1955, President Sukarno at the time said that only through understanding each other we are actually able to understand what is actually the other people's interests, and through understanding others, we can of course work with other people coming from the other background. And so therefore, fostering cultural understanding will further strengthen the bonds between the people, and in this case, between the bond of the people coming from Indonesia and China. And historically, Indonesia and China are close neighbors. Even though that we are a distance away, there are parts of the historical relationship between Indonesia. For example, what we call the maritime Silk Route, connecting China with India and the Middle East. And of course, Indonesia played an important role in connecting between China as well as the Middle East through the maritime Silk Route that is actually going through the two oceans that we have in Indonesia. And also our culture share many elements, including in culinary, languages, as well as other arts and cultural parts between Indonesia and China that we share. And presently, Indonesia and China has a comprehensive strategic partnership. In 2023 alone, Indonesia's president, Bapak Joko Widodo, has twice visited China, and Chinese premier visited Indonesia in September, and Indonesian vice president visited China approximately at the same time. And these high-level visits are actually the symbolizes the complementary and the bilateral mechanisms that we have at all levels of relationship that we have. And therefore, our economic cooperation between Indonesia and China is also growing stronger. China, as mentioned by the political counselor just now, is Indonesia's largest export destination, the largest sources of imports as well, and the second largest investor in Indonesia. The trade value in 2023 between January until November which is about 116.2 billion US dollar, and China investment in the same period reached almost 5.7 billion US dollar. And not only that, I think symbolizing also the relationship between Indonesia and China is of course the participation that China has in the infrastructure projects in Indonesia, such as the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway, Center of Technology, Digital Development in Turtle Island, Bali, and the Tangerang Industrial, as well as the